What if I joined into therapy and I like had this microphone and like headphones on and I was like, hey,
Josh Ovalle,
Shovaye, please
please
be
be
a
a
guest
guest
on my
on my podcast.
podcast.
Honestly, I feel like you should. Is it your first session with?
The second session. Well, at least we got back together so that then he could tell us to talk into the Blue Yeti logo because that did wonders for us.
No, true. Now we're like awesome. I was actually already doing it before, but
Okay, well,
hey guys, welcome back to the Internet is Dead podcast, also known as the Josh Ovalle. Please be a guest on my podcast. It's just us today
hey.
because we still haven't really said who we are. So like
That's so true.
we tried to, and then we started talking about incels, and Jordan Peterson.
By the way, guys, I'm single again. Don't worry.
Woohoo! You
It's
hear
like
that?
maybe every like solo episode I'll be single again.
I got asked that on a date.
Samira got asked out on a date, and I've been praying for her to get a boyfriend, so I
Ugh.
think that that might have been why it
My
happened.
mom has also been praying for me to get a boyfriend, like very, like so seriously. Like anytime we're in a church or like any sort of temple or religious thing, she's like
God.
lighting candles. And like every time we like throw pennies into like water fountains or whatever, that's like
She
her
wishes on
wish.
the pennies for
Yes,
you.
like she's been like wishing on any possible thing you can wish on.
I remember you saying that you were praying for me to get a boyfriend, like right before me and Danny started dating, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I was just praying that you would like be happy.
No, I remember you specifically being like, I've been praying for it.
It is weird that the day you guys broke up is the day he asked me out. Isn't that scary?
Dude, I like know that like you're like catch like you're about to sync up. You know what I mean? Like you're like it's gonna like obviously it's not the same thing, but like I feel like our things align too much for like,
But
like
yeah, I just am like nervous. I don't know. I'm like, it was like really freaking me out. Like, I just am really, really anxious about it. And I think I'm going to be anxious about it for like the rest of my life.
I think that it's normal to freak you out, but like nothing like has to happen. Like it's okay to
What
go
if
on
he
a date.
tries to kiss me?
It's okay to go on a date and then realize that like you don't like want that or like it's okay to
But
like
I
go on
don't
a few
even know if
dates.
I want it or like, how do you even know if you want it?
You probably won't for a little while, and
Oh,
that's okay. I didn't really want Danny until like I wasn't sure if I liked him like while I was dating him for like a long
yeah.
time.
I think that's just like also what freaks me out. I don't know. I think that I'm just not built to date people. And dating is like the worst thing for me, I think.
Yeah, but I think you eventually end up liking it once you like feel okay enough in it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, once I'm like in it for like a long time, like a year. Once I'm in it for like a year, I'm awesome.
well, I can tell him not to kiss you.
Don't do that.
Well, if you don't want him to, I'll tell him.
No,
I can pull him aside. I can say, and then I'll be like, "Hey, dude, listen.
don't do
She's
that.
interested, but if you kiss her, you're gonna ruin this whole thing."
Okay. See, this is why I'm scared of you. I don't like it when boys kiss me.
I just want to get all of our exes on one call in the podcast. That's all I want. All of our exes in one call. Is that so much to ask? What's wrong with that idea, huh?
I have one ex, just to clarify.
I have two. Big whoop.
Ooh,
You're gonna have two soon.
no.
Last time we fully like didn't explain that much. Like we talked about
Yeah,
meeting kind of. I'm
but
trying to think if there's like
we didn't
an
really talk about like our like what fandoms we were like in or like what we like did, I feel
well,
like.
also just our friendship. Like we haven't really
Yeah.
explained our friend
Yeah,
because
we
I feel
didn't
like this is
explain
important.
anything.
Me and Samira, as we said, have been friends since our sophomore year of college. Well, for Samira, it was her junior year because she was a year ahead.
But
Um,
I was like the same age.
yeah, me and Samira got really close because we bonded over like as we said in the other episode, we were like in this friend group with the guys in our class where I don't know if we said this, but we used to play Minecraft with them and talk on Discord. And this was like during COVID, so like we were like stuck quarantined. And I remember like we would go on like Discord and like play on this Minecraft server that I had. And then after that, like once we were back in school one day, I invited Samira to come with me because she was like in my class and we used to do like the work together. It was like a computer science class. I think it was like Java.
It was like data structures.
My friend from home, Michael, invited me to go to like this Joe Biden rally thing. Um, and this was when we still had to like wear masks outside. Went with Michael in the car and his like friend who was like a terrorist. Am I allowed to say that or is that bad?
Yeah, I mean, he is. This was also in like 2020, so like it was like right before like election season, so that was like what the rally was for.
For like Joe Biden to win like
Mhm.
presidency. And there was like this concert with John Legend and like Chrissy Teigen was there and it was like super weird because like stuff like that in Philly doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And Michael invited me to come and then I was like, "Can I bring a friend?" And at the time I was like in a terrible roommate situation and fighting with my roommates and I like felt like I had like no one and then I was like, "I'll invite Samira because if I invite Samira like she'll miss the class too and we'll get to work together." And also it was just like, oh, this is like hopeful. Like in my head, I thought with the intention of like making a new friend kind of. And it was
Mhm.
like weird. But that like bonded us kind of because we were just like both afraid because Michael and his friend Jake were both like making all these jokes and like we were kind of like
Yeah. And they
intimidated
were
by
like
them.
singing The Strokes.
Yeah, we thought they were so
We
cool. They were
literally
like
thought,
singing the
yeah,
Strokes in the car
I
and they
was
were
like
like doing bit.
shaking. I like literally thought these were the coolest people like ever
But I feel like
because
we just felt that way about everyone at the time. Like
yeah.
I don't know. I think we had imposter syndrome about things, but also at the same time, I feel like everyone around us was just like awesome. And like
Yeah.
we were just like I think meeting people who we cared about a lot. Yeah, when we were like in the car with them, we both were like really intimidated and it's funny to look back on now because now we're like
We're like, "Oh."
we're like, oh, that's Michael and Jake. And I feel
Yeah.
like that like effect has happened with so many people. And it's weird how your like perspective of people changes. And I think that that also still has to do with like how I grew up like admiring people from afar because I'll like admire people from afar and like idolize them and then like get to know them and I'm like, "Oh, that's just this person." And it's not like I love them any less, but it's like just looking at them differently, you know?
Yeah, it's like building them up in your head as almost like a character, which I also think is just normal that a lot of people do.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's
Yeah.
because of the internet. I think we just do that to each other as humans.
Yeah, yeah, like I think it's really normal. Like started hanging out like pretty much every single day after that. Like
I was
literally
thinking about this today.
it was actually crazy. Like we were hanging out every single like night. And it was during like quarantine. Like it wasn't during quarantine, but COVID was still a thing, so all the classes were online. So we would literally hang out like all day and then like into all-nighters, like every single night pretty much, and it was actually insane.
Yeah, we would hang out at our friend Mitch's apartment. By the way, he like I know I said that he used to not like abortions, but this was like by the time he liked he was like, yeah, abortion. So don't worry. Yeah, no. We would hang out in his apartment and watch movies all the time. And then we got introduced to this friend group.
And Mitch
Well,
was trying to gatekeep the friend group
yeah,
from
Mitch
us.
was like, they're gonna think you guys aren't cool because you guys listen to Hippocampus.
Yeah, he was like, "You guys cannot meet these people. Like, I'm not letting you meet them." And we were like, "Yeah." And then we wheedled our way in.
Mitch, for some reason, was so against us being friends with them. And
Yeah.
then we like met them, and I feel like we like got really close with them immediately. And like it was the friend group where we met both of our exes and we like dated and had our first relationships in that friend group and then went through our same like both of our like
Well,
first heartbreaks at the
my ex
same
was kind
time.
of separate. Like he was like Mitch's roommate. And then, yeah, isn't
That's
that weird?
insane being like, yeah, my ex was Mitch's roommate. Like that's
I
so
know.
funny.
Isn't that crazy? I like think about that sometimes and I'm like, that's really weird because literally, because I remember Brittany had like matched with him on like Tinder prior to
Yeah,
us
I like
meeting
never
him.
actually used it, but like I had it as like a joke, you know?
Yeah.
And like I remember like Mitch being like, that's my roommate. And then I like swiped up and said like something about the strokes because he had something about the strokes. I don't know why everything had to be about the strokes at this
Ugh.
time. It was sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was like the joke at the time was like
No,
joking
it
about the
was.
strokes, or at least like I don't know. Like it was kind of like how people like around us joke about like Alex G now.
Yeah.
Like people did the same thing about the strokes at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both went through like our first like real relationships at the same time and we were like all like best we went through our like breakups at the same time and it was just like these two never-ending relationships that like impacted
Yeah.
us insanely. I don't know. That's like a crazy like part of our friendship, I feel like, because we like had not gone through that before and then we went through that together.
Yeah, and it also felt like a lot of other people that we were around had already like they had gone through like their first breakup or their first relationship. And so I think it's hard when you're not going through your first one or when you're not in it to like understand what that feels like. And also it was just like the four of us were really close and we would hang out a lot. And so I think that also played a big role in it because then when we broke up, it was like we were also losing friendships in a way, and that was really
I
hard.
feel like because we were kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like in college there's like a weird mixed bag of people where it's like some people have like never dated anyone and then like some people have had like all these like high school relationships and like we were both similar in the way where we hadn't had that and also had like I think as a product of that, but also just like as people, we just happen to be like really similar in like how we viewed things around us and how we viewed like social stuff and how we viewed like having like crushes on people. Um, and I think that brought us like really close together. That's why we got along so well, was like we both saw things in this similar way where like we were at kind of like the same like point, you know?
Yeah.
Like we both haven't hadn't had like a boyfriend ever. And like it's funny because like why is that such like an important thing? But it like is. I don't know.
No, I was thinking that like as we were talking about this and being like, why is it that like bonded us so much? And I think it definitely wasn't the only thing. Like I think we were already really close before that. I think it was also just like us being there for each other in a way that I don't think either of us, I guess I think you like had it sort of with like Noah, Michael, Kyle, and like you're like friends from home. And I like had it with like a few of my friends from
It was
home.
in like such a different way though. Like
Yeah.
I don't think they were there emotionally in the way that you've like were
Mhm.
capable of being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you're just
they're
like a
also just,
girl.
yeah, they're just guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we both were just really there for each other in a way that neither of us had experienced before. And I think like seeing that there's this person that's willing to be so there for you and willing to just like give you this much like love and care, I think is a really special thing. And I think it just like showed both of us like, oh, like I have this person now that I can like depend on for like anything. And I think that was really important too.
It's like we're talking about this.
No, you started it.
No, I know. That like makes me want to cry.
No.
Um, no, I know. I feel like meeting you was like an insane thing for me because I grew up wanting a best friend so badly. And I
Same.
know we both had this experience because we've talked about it. And I feel like we talked about it like as soon as we met too. Like literally just
Yeah.
like in a lot of ways we had like gone through the same experiences and I think just been the same level of like emotionally mature. We both were like also just like innocent in this weird way, which
Yeah.
like yeah. I like we
Yeah.
talk about that often where we're like, oh, like we were so innocent.
Well, I think we were just really like everything was like really exciting and new. And I
The
think
light
that
was in our eyes.
literally it like was though, like genuinely like looking back at pictures from that time, it's actually crazy the difference. And I don't think that like I think I'm gonna have that in a different way, but I don't think I'm ever gonna have it in the same way. And I think that's with anything in life. Like you just never get to experience the same kind of love twice. But yeah, no, we were just like really like happy and just excited about everything because everything was new and
It was like I feel like the thing that I didn't realize could actually happen like in college is like
yeah.
what happened to us. And that was like, I don't know. Also, like I've talked about it with Mitch where like our friend group was just like actually like magic. Like it was
Yeah.
like crazy because we were all so close. And I was talking about this recently. I was honestly talking about this when Danny broke up with me because I was just like getting really upset because I was just like thinking about, I don't know, how that was like the closest thing almost to like having what we had then. The whole thing you were saying about like you can literally see the difference in our eyes in photos when
Yeah.
you look back at them is crazy because like it's true and like we were just like so excited and I think you become like a certain kind of like jaded
Hmm.
when you get older, but then also I think you have to get jaded so that then you can have like the light in your eyes again. So like I don't
Yeah.
know, I think it's a cycle. I don't think it ever ends and it like definitely doesn't happen again in the same way, but when I had met like the high school friends I had and like only got to really have for like a year, I had like that like this like intense happiness of like, oh my God, this is the first time I've had like a friend group in person. And it's like not this like online friend group, it's like an in-person friend group. And like we met in this like really sweet way and we all just like cared about each other. And it was like very similar to what me and you experienced together, but like somehow like still evoked like I think like the same feeling but like slightly different. So like it's definitely not a thing that you only experience once. I think it's just like being at a point of like feeling so like you have to feel like really like alone to like
Mhm.
then have this motivation to find something that's special, I think. Because it's weird. Like I don't think things like that happen very easily.
The only people that like remain in that jaded like place, I think it's when you stop chasing that feeling and when you stop like trying to find it. And I just think you have to never stop chasing it. And you have to never stop trying to find it because I think that it is always there. And I think that's what like keeps you happy and keeps you young and alive.
I think it's just like difficult to feel excited when you like are around the same people all the time.
Like the thing about the like first, like the friend group that we had together and like the one that we met in was that when that friend group started and when it was like going on in the beginning and for like a while, I genuinely didn't have any thought in my head about like dating anyone or like wanting to date anyone in that friend group, which I never thought I would experience because if you're in a friend group full of like guys, girls, whoever, like obviously you're gonna be like, oh, like I want to date someone in this friend group. But that thought just never even occurred to me because I was having so much fun just like hanging out with everyone. And it was all just really fun and exciting. And I wasn't even thinking about dating anyone. And then I ended up like dating someone because it just happened. But I don't think I've had that since in the same way where I've like been in a friend group and I've been really excited about it without that being a thought in my head.
It's really just the potential of like what could happen because it's
Yeah.
like not even necessarily like I don't know. I think it's just like that possibility not being completely like shut off because
Yeah. But I
I
was
do think
fine with
like
it not being there like before.
I feel like I've low key had that always, but like it wasn't always for what I expected. Like with the like who I ended up dating in that friend group, I didn't expect I was gonna date him and I like didn't like seek that out or anything like that. And I like had crushes on other people like in the
Yeah.
group. But I also think I just like I think I just tend to fixate on people. Like, I definitely did that way more back then.
Yeah, I like wanted to talk about this. This is one of the things that I like wrote down to talk about because I feel like I don't do that as much anymore, where I don't fixate on people. And I think that it's because when I was younger, I was so heavily fixating on people and on boys specifically, like literally in love with so many boys. Like I had crushes on boys since like literally like my first crush was like in first grade. And
That's
like I just
crazy.
had like crushes on boys like all throughout like elementary school, middle school, high school. I was like writing songs about these boys in like the second grade. Like I was like listening to Taylor Swift and like picturing myself dating these boys. I was also obsessed with like the like the fandoms that I was in compared to what you were in. Like you were mainly in like Fifth Harmony and Ariana Grande, and I was in like One Direction and Five Sauce and
Yeah.
all of like the Warped Tour bands, and YouTubers, but like all these like I liked like beauty gurus and like funny YouTubers, whatever too. But I also liked like mainly male YouTubers and like funny because literally nothing ever happened. Like I was obsessed with all these boys, but like I didn't ever date anyone or like do anything. It was just like me fixating them in my head and creating these like scenarios in my head for them. But I think that that like burned me out. And I think that that's why I don't like fixate on boys anymore or fixate on people in that way anymore.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense because like comparing it, I like didn't do that. And like I was just idolizing girls like when I was young and I like didn't really care about boys. And I feel like I did have like a few crushes when I was young, but they were only because I got really close with them and like they were like my close friends and like I feel like my mom drilled into my head. She was like, whoever you like should be your best friend. And I like
Aw.
don't know why like that like I think like really stuck in my brain as a child and like I really like I just like didn't have that as a kid where I like felt like I wanted like it's weird thinking about too because I'm like I feel like that thing didn't turn out until I like somehow like conditioned it into my own brain, which is like so weird
Yeah.
because it's like what if I didn't? Like would I have ever even liked anyone? Like you know what I mean? Like is it just because we're taught to do that? I like vividly remember like being at a point where I just didn't have that at all. Like I didn't have like feelings like that inside of me. I didn't have it for anyone, I feel like. Like I think I had crushes but didn't realize it and it wasn't like as big of a thing maybe. And like I feel like crushes just turn into the thing they turn into is because of the way we talk about them. And I've noticed that a
Yeah.
lot where like if you talk about someone or talk about your feelings for someone, it changes them in this crazy way. Like the language you use around it, or the way you like speak about an experience, or the way you just like literally just in general speaking something out loud changes it completely.
I like talked about it in a different way. Like I was talking about it through like writing songs or through writing like whatever poems and posting them on my poetry Instagram account.
That's so funny.
And then like, and I feel like that also changed the way I viewed it. I feel like that's the same thing as like talking about it out loud.
We always like end up talking
I
about something
know.
that's just like an inevitable thing to talk about. And I think that's a good thing because it's just like, this is just like what we
Yeah.
think about things. I do like want to talk, like, you want to just like, we can both kind of summarize. Because like, I feel like for me, I was more so like interacting with like things and like being
Yeah.
like a psycho online. Like that was like my world. And like, I went to that other world because it like, my other world was like closed up, if that makes sense. Where like,
Hmm.
it felt like, there was nothing for me to do like in person. Like I had run out of options. And so like literally in fourth grade, I was like on Twitter. Like I remember how it started was like me just like downloading Twitter onto my iPod Touch and like not really knowing what it was, just like downloading like all these apps because I got an iPod Touch for Hanukkah. And I like followed, I saw that Nickelodeon was coming out with a new show soon called Victorious. And so then I
Ah,
followed all the actors, actresses, and like actors in it. And I followed Ariana Grande, and then she did a follow spree for 1 million followers. And she would always tweet with her fans. So literally, I got hooked on her by her like interacting with fans and like by like seeing that there was that potential of like her like noticing me and like she used to do like this thing called like fan of the month. Like I was there since the beginning of her like being online. So like my like perspective on her is crazy and like I really want to talk about this like in depth like literally an episode about her like stan culture because her stan culture is crazy because she used to literally do like fan of the month where she would like pick a fan who like got to be fan of the month and she would just like tweet them all the time like that month and I think she might have like turned on their notifications or something like
that's
that
insane.
like and I remember her doing like these like super specific like live streams where she would like watch certain movies with like all of her fans and live tweet watching
Aw.
them and it was so fun. It's crazy because she like really knew how to brand herself because she like
Yeah.
had these interests that she got us all hooked on and she was like yeah like let's live watch this movie because it's like about the like break free video like you know what I mean and
Yeah.
like I remember this one specific thing where she did like this like she got this like hashtag trending off of like a joke during a tweet spree like she used to do tweet sprees where she would like reply to people she would like tweet at fans and I forget how this like exactly occurred but like this one fan named Gianna who like I was mutuals with like I was like close with like a lot of the people in the fandom like who were like big. Like I was like also like one of those people who was kind of like known in the fandom. Like there was like hashtag like Gianna's party. Like we like literally got this like trending hashtag like to trend about this one fan where we were like, yeah, are you coming to like Gianna's party? And like we were all at like Gianna's party and like making jokes about it. And it was like an iconic like moment in her fandom. And like there were so many moments like that. And like I just like actually can't believe the world that existed in that because I just like I obviously am not tapped into things now. And I know we've said it so many times in these episodes, but I don't like I can't imagine like someone doing that now. I don't think they do it like that. Like at least they don't do it like that
Yeah.
because there are not hashtags trending of this random fans like inside joke. Like she like made inside jokes with us. We thought we knew her.
Ah,
Right?
like there were like a few like fandoms that like literally like were like defining of like stan culture, and I feel like Ariana's like that was like one of the fandoms. I feel like One Direction was like a
Mm.
really really big fandom because that was
Justin too.
also yeah, like because that was also really similar like to what you were saying with Ariana, where like people like also did that, where there would be like inside jokes and things would be like trending all the time, and like, and I also just think that the way that like celebrities interacted with fans. I was reading this article about Taylor Swift, And it was like
Oh yeah, Taylor
talking,
fandom for sure was also one
yeah.
of those.
Because also Taylor Swift was like also really, really like she would like invite her fans to like listening parties to her house like
Yeah.
before the album would drop. She like baked cookies with her fans. Like
Well,
she also did so much with her
the like
fans.
room, like the like thing where it was like they would find people like off
Yeah.
Twitter and
Yeah,
like bring
yeah.
them to meet her. Like
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't know
she
if
was
that still
also
happens.
I feel like it probably doesn't because she's like way too big now for that to happen.
That's like crazy though, because it's like
But that was like
that was like
so
her thing. That
insane.
was like her
No,
like
I
iconic
know.
like thing that she did for fans.
Yeah, and like the article's like talking about like the parasocial relationships between like fans and artists and like the ones between like Taylor Swift and her fans and like how she's like in part fueled these relationships by like doing that stuff by like inviting fans to her house, whatever. But then like when it happens, like when she's dating Maddie Healy and then all of her fans got really, really mad at her, and it's like, okay, well, do they have like a say in it? I don't know. It was an interesting thing. But like, yeah, I feel like there were a few fandoms that were like defining of stan culture. And I feel like those were like the big ones.
Just like want to point out what those fandoms were, and I feel like it was like Ariana, Taylor Swift, One Direction, Justin Bieber, like Demi Lovato was also huge at the
Yeah.
time. Selena was
Selena
pretty huge.
Gomez. Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of like Fifth Harmony
Fifth
and Little
Harmony. Yeah.
Mix,
Yeah.
Five
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sauce, um, Halsey even.
Because there were like those photos that was like the thing of like all the different like fandoms like and then it was like we stand with like da 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 and it was also really funny because whenever something would happen to like an artist or in one of the fandoms and all the other fandoms would like tweet that and be like, oh, we stand with like Arianators or we stand with dress
Yes,
singers
yes,
and
I
like
remember that. Oh
yeah,
my God.
it was really yeah, it was like it was really sweet.
No, and it was literally so fun. Like, it's crazy because like nobody did that intentionally. Like that just
Yeah.
happened. Like it's
Yeah.
actually insane that you logged on to Twitter and like I just stumbled into that. Like that's a crazy, like insane thing because nobody meant for that to happen. And like that's just like where our brains went was like, okay, yeah, let's hashtag like we stand with Arianators because they're going through it because Ariana licked a donut.
Literally.
Like
And
that's crazy.
but it was so sweet. And like I also this is kind of off topic, but not really, but it's like in the same realm because I was thinking a lot about Wattpad after we watched The Idea of You last night.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that was
there's a lot of
crazy.
thoughts. But I was thinking a lot about Wattpad and how literally Wattpad was also an insane thing. And I think it still exists and like I'm sure it still is like this, but like there were like okay, Wattpad was so much fun to also be on because I was like in like the fifth grade, sixth grade, like on Wattpad, like on my iPod Touch in bed, like reading at night, like reading until 4 a.m. And
I
not
did
only
that too, yeah.
fanfics, but like also just like regular, they had like other books on there too, just regular books. And like there's literally a Netflix show, like My Life with the Walter Boys is a Netflix show now. And that was a book that I read on Wattpad when it came out when I was like in eighth grade or whatever. And now it's a Netflix show. Like that's crazy.
Did
And
you
I
read the like it was like by Natasha Preston, I think, like The Seller. It was like about those girls who get kidnapped and they're like named after flowers because she like became
no,
a best-selling author. Like or maybe
that's
not best-selling, but I remember she came to my Barnes and Noble and I like went to her Q&A.
no, but that's like Wattpad was so much fun because it was also just like you're reading a book and it gets like updated every like however many weeks or so. So you're like waiting for the next
And the
chapter.
comments.
The comments and the author like leaves like little notes after every
Yes.
chapter
Oh
giving
my God.
updates on like their lives and stuff. And that was like so fun to like read those notes and like engage with the people in the comments and just like and also like if you wanted to write something like you just could and it was so much fun. I also saw this tweet being like it's like the writing fanfic on Wattpad to writing personal essays on Substack. Wattpad was also the same thing where it wasn't intentional. Like nobody went into like writing this like fanfic about Harry Styles thinking it was going to become like a movie one day. Like they
Yeah.
literally were just doing it because it was like, oh, like I have a crush on this celebrity and I'm going to write a fanfic about him. Like it I
And
don't
they
know.
like knew other people would like I don't know, they just like knew that other people like had the same kind of like thoughts. If anyone listening to this read Trials and Tribulations, the Cameron fanfic, like can you comment and tell me because because that fan fiction was fucking crazy. Lauren like sticks her fingers in Camila's
Ah,
you know what?
Wattpad was also such a form of escapism in a way that like like obviously just like reading books is escapism, but Wattpad, it was like all accessible to you. It was like right there. It was all fit. I remember like reading books like these like stories about like the nerdy girl dating the popular guy, or like getting like the bad boy like asked me out on like a dare or something. Like books like that. And for someone who's like in middle school and who doesn't have friends and who doesn't have like any boyfriends, isn't dating anyone, like is alone every Friday night, like that was so much fun to read and like envision that that would be like your life one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was so
stop.
fun.
That's like really, I feel like you just explained that experience really, really well because I like completely went through that too, where I don't know, it was a crazy like escape and like knowing that other people also had these like fantasies was like really comforting, like
Yeah.
just in general. I'm like looking, oh my gosh, I like opened Wattpad because you said that, and like I like can see my like we should like read my old fan fiction on here
Stop.
sometime.
Can we
It has
please?
97K views.
Okay. Was it Ariana?
It's called no, it was Lohanthony,
Oh, right.
and it was called You Make Me Strong. Also, okay, I need to talk about Lohanthony as well. Like it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Do you want to talk about him now?
well, I remember having a like I had a fan account for him like after Ariana. Well, not after. I like kept my Ariana Grande fan account the whole time. But then I like also made a YouTube fan account and also a Fifth Harmony fan account. I think I made a Fifth Harmony fan account and then I made a Lohanthony fan account. And on my Camila fan account, literally Camila followed me the day that I made it. Like
Aw.
like it was crazy how accessible like Fifth Harmony was like on Twitter and like people putting like followed by like 4 out of 5, followed by 5 out of 5,
They
like
did that with like Five Sauce too, and
and
One
like One
Direction.
Direction.
Yeah, because they all started in that way where it was like, well, One Direction and Fifth Harmony both started as like X Factor, like, and then Five Sauce started from like literally just like making YouTube videos.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my
Oh
God.
my
That's
God, the Five Sauce, you, I was literally, they're so cute. It like makes me like want to cry. Like watching those videos literally makes me sob. Like they're so little and they're so cute and they're singing All Time Low and Luke singing like Mayday Parade. Like, are you kidding me?
I like had like all the people in real life around me, like who I met, like were actually like none of like the girls who I knew who were like in stan culture, they were all like Five Sauce fans. So I feel like I got that like experience secondhand, like watching them like react to like all the stuff that happened. And also they like loved One Direction too. Like it was like a
Yeah,
thing.
it was
But
so fun.
wait, I was gonna say Lohanthony, like I had a fan account for him and he like was so mean. He was
Are you
so mean to his
serious?
fans.
But are you serious? That doesn't
Like
surprise me.
literally like I think he unfollowed me like twice like throughout like and like every time he unfollowed me I was thinking about this recently because I wanted to bring it up. Every time he unfollowed me I was like my life is over, like Anthony hates me, like oh my God, like and it was like this whole like it was like insane. I remember I like met him and I like printed out like my like Twitter notices from him and I like
Oh
had him sign them.
my God. I like actually can't.
Like it's just like a such a specific like experience of like that happening. I don't know. I'm like just thinking about it is like so funny to me because I'm like, why the hell did I print out like Anthony liked your tweet, like Anthony tweeted you like
No.
I'm pretty sure he like wait, I actually like remember exactly like I'm like triggering myself. Like he tweeted me like I like tweeted him a Mean Girls quote and he tweeted me like boo you whore like in response.
He would. He would.
But I spent my like days literally so depressed at that age. I think I was in seventh grade and literally all I cared about was if Anthony liked my tweet. And if he liked my tweet, my like serotonin like would like boost up for an hour and like
Yeah.
then I would feel so happy and then I would just like want it again. Which is
Yeah.
like crazy because do we want to unpack that? Because
But like you needed something to boost your serotonin.
yeah, but now I feel like I don't know. It's like you could compare that to my relationships.
Yeah. Well, you can compare a lot to relationships now. I did also want to
Yeah.
talk about like that like that was another thing that I thought would be cool to talk about because you were like on that side where you were like meeting all these people and like going to like meet and greets and stuff. And I just feel like that's something that honestly, like I'm like a lot of people definitely did that, but a lot of people also I don't think like did that and stuff. And so I feel like it'd be cool to like talk about that.
Yeah. I feel like I was like really lucky. Like I was really lucky that my mom was so willing to take me to things, and I'm like still thankful because I don't know, I think she just like felt bad for me as a kid because she saw how like I got bullied and how like depressed I was all the time as a child, and like I'm just like thankful for her because she really didn't have the money to be doing that, but she's still like obviously she did because she did it, but like she like really
No, but
shouldn't
she
have
like
been. You know
made
what I
like
mean?
sacrifices to like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Exactly. Like meet and greets and stuff was a crazy experience because yeah, I had like gone to a lot of those as a kid. Like I went to VidCon when I was 16. I went to like Playlist Live like multiple times. I like met Ariana Grande like 5 times. I met Fifth Harmony like 5 times. Like I was
See,
like yeah, I don't know.
also, wait, no, sorry. I like want you to keep going. I just want to say this so I don't forget too. I think that was the thing too, because I feel like my experience like being like standing people and like being like whatever, like it was like pretty short lived. Like I feel like it was from like the age like I was like online from like I don't know, like 12 maybe, but like me like standing people was like from when I was like 11, 12 to when I was like 15 maybe, and then I was like
Whoa.
done. You were really into Tana. Like I had like stopped watching her at that point. Like I only really watched her in like when she was like super like when she was really little. Like I remember her making a video saying like she like had reached like 300,000 subscribers or something. Like
Like Bleach and
even
Tone era?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Bleach and Tone era, like that was like when I watched her. And yeah, and then feel like well One Direction, I feel like breaking up or Zayn leaving One Direction like left like a traumatic effect on me. And I think I was like, what's the point of standing anyone? Because everyone's just gonna break up and everyone leaves, which you can also unpack to
Well,
today.
I think that yeah, try and unpack that.
Try and
Unpack that
unpack
right
that guy.
now.
But yeah, no, I feel like so I like stopped standing people after like I feel like literally when I was like 15, like 16. And I remember because my best friend, Cinderia, was like on Stan Twitter and stuff for One Direction. And she was like in group chats and stuff and was like doing all the things. And we were like 16 at the time. And I remember being like, not like, I like didn't care about it anymore because I was like out of it at that point.
No, I like completely understand that because I remember I like took a break from it like for like a year or something or like a few months and like got off Twitter. And like also I think this is what developed my FOMO initially was like coming back to Twitter and seeing all these things happen and being like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
like I can never do that again."
No, that makes
But like
sense.
I get the like leaving like it especially when you're like not as involved in it because I think what made it so fun was like getting noticed. Like for
Yeah.
me, like I had so much fun getting noticed and like going to like meet and greet and stuff. Like, I had like that I still do like which is like really funny as an adult to have a countdown app for like concerts, but I still
No,
have
but
it.
that's cute.
But like, hold on, wait. I should like look at it because it's like really funny. I have like everything on it. Like, look at like this is crazy. I
Oh,
don't know if you can see this well, but I'll read it off. It
the
says
list.
American Idol Live, Harmonize America, which was like Fifth Harmony at Best Buy. It was what does that say?
The listening sessions.
Oh, Ariana Grande, the listening sessions. That was like her first tour. The I Wish tour, Fifth Harmony with their first tour.
Aw.
Um, Digi Tour, Fifth Harmony, like tour, Hello Anthony meet and greet, Playlist Live, the Honeymoon Tour, the Reflection Tour, like you know what I mean? Like it's just like
Yeah.
yeah, I
See,
don't
I
know.
feel like I also like when I was like I don't know like how old like when I was like 15 like or whatever I also like reached that point where I literally was like in my head I was like I like don't care like what these people are doing anymore like I just like why did I care so much. And it's like I feel like everyone reaches that point and I like reached it like I think like I don't know, like I like it was just like short-lived. Like I feel like I reached that and then once you reach that, I think it's hard to like go back to it. Like in the way that we couldn't
Yeah.
like stand people now in the way that we used to because we have that thing where it's like I don't care like what these people are doing.
Well, also it's like when you detach from something, you like don't feel like as connected to it, and like I
Mhm.
completely get that because like now that I'm out of it and like I don't know. It definitely took having like friends in real life for me because I
Yeah.
didn't really get off Twitter until my junior year of high school when I like had made
Well,
a friend group.
also, I think it was like I think One Direct, not One Direction because they were still together, but like Zayn leaving One Direction was really the start of it because that was like, okay, this was like this band that I loved so, so much and like literally like based all my happiness on. And like now it's like falling apart. Like Zayn's leaving and like the band's gonna break up soon. Like it was so
No,
sad. Like I was in eighth grade science class. I was sobbing my eyes out. I thought it was a joke. All the boys were making fun, and I was like, "Do not come near me, or I will literally like cut your eyes out." Like I was so sad,
no, I
and
remember vividly being on the bus and like people like my friends
it
like
was so
crying.
sad. And yeah, and then that happened. And then like One Direction was still a band and it was like still really fun and stuff, but it like obviously wasn't the same. But then they ended up breaking up. And then 5 Seconds of Summer like was like there and they were really fun and like especially in like the early days of that. But that like also I feel like once like like their first like album was so good. Like it was so good. And then like they fell off. But and like there hasn't been like something like that since. Like there hasn't been like a One Direction or like a 5 Seconds of Summer since. And I think that that was like what made me be like, oh, I'm done with this. Whereas I feel like for you, it was like Ariana was like still around. You know what I mean? Like these people that you love
Yeah,
were still around and they were still like doing things and making music and interacting or being active.
that
But
makes a lot of sense. Also, like
yeah,
Ariana's like stan culture fell off when she got off Twitter. Like it kind of like fell apart. Like it was like genuinely like it wasn't like what it was before, but it kept going until I think she got off Twitter, which is like I think interesting because the person really holding it together is just like the person who you're standing and if they're like doing
no, for
anything.
sure.
Because if they're not doing anything, it's like or if they're
Yeah.
not like even interacting with fans, it's like what's the point?
Yeah, well, because they used to have like One Direction and Five Sauce would have like live streams, and you'd have to be in like because they would always be in like UK time or
Yeah,
Australian time zones, so we would all like stay up and like we'd talk about it in school the next day, and like they would do all their little things, and it was so fun, and I miss them. Literally
live
watching,
streams were like such a unique experience
they were so fun, like the inside jokes on live streams,
because like now there's like Instagram live,
but
but
it's not
no,
the
like
same.
there was TwitCam, there was like
Twitcam,
what was the other one? Do you remember
um,
the old like live streaming platforms? Because like
I don't remember.
it was like TwitCam and like you now was a thing, but that was like way later.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like they weren't like on that. Watching The Idea of You last night literally made me sad during like the concert scene because it was so fun. And like that's never gonna happen again.
no, I know. Like because they did like it was just like funny seeing like this thing that was supposed to be One Direction in that movie.
Mhm.
For anyone who doesn't know the idea of you,
You gotta watch it.
it was crazy.
There's sex.
There's sex. It's Anne Hathaway. She has Oscars. Why is she in this movie? But it's awesome because it's like, yeah, obviously if like you've won Oscars, how are you not going to be in a movie that's a fan fiction based off Harry Styles? For
Oh,
anyone who
it's
doesn't know,
literally so good.
this movie is a fan fiction based off Harry Styles, and it's crazy because what you
He
were
dates
saying
a MILF
last night, he dates a MILF. But
and he's a
what
feminist.
what Samira said last night was like, it's crazy because he's like 30 something and he has like three movies made about him that are like about him, but like
That are
indirectly
based on
because they were
fanfics,
like,
which
yeah,
are like
based on
literally
fan
just
fictions about this
smut.
man.
Like
Like,
fanfics are just smut.
yeah, like literally, that's crazy. Like, that's an insane thing. And you can tell when you watch them too. Like, you can tell
No,
they
they
took
don't
this
even
straight off
try.
Wattpad and like put it in a book, like adapted it to a book and then adapted it to a movie. And like the timelines of everything, the way the dialogue, the way they talk, it's just like insane. And it's really
Well,
funny.
also, they're not even trying to hide the fact that this is like based on Harry Styles. Like literally,
No, they literally don't
like
even change the first letter of his
no, and
name.
like
It's always like an
the
H name.
tattoos and like the hair and the British accent, like and like being the front man of the band. Like literally, they don't like even after he wasn't in a band, but it was like Hard and Scott. Like it was like
It is insane that One Direction was that and created that for people. And I think it's really funny too because we kind of mentioned this before, but seeing the like TikToks of people being like, "I wish I was online when One Direction existed," or like when
yeah.
our whoever like when like fandoms were how they were, and like genuinely, yeah, crazy time for
Well,
fandoms, and like
also it's
it'll never
crazy
happen again.
because yeah, and I remember being on like being in 2014, and there were people posting things being like, oh, like one day people are gonna be like, oh, I wish I was like around when Harry Styles was in his like 20s, and like would post like a picture of Harry like from then, like on like a tour or whatever. And it's just crazy how full circle it is to now, like people are actually doing that and they don't even know. Like they don't even know. Do you have therapy?
Yeah.
Brittany has therapy. I'm gonna go for
My
a walk.
Aphex Twin shirt came, by the way.
Oh, was that supposed to be for Danny?
No. Well, okay, let me explain this. Last thing I'll say. I ordered an Aphex Twin shirt off Depop because I just got a job and you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get like an expensive t-shirt off Depop that I've always wanted to buy. So I got this expensive t-shirt off Depop. I told Danny about it. Like I like said that I like a Depop order came and it wasn't that. And he like, this is what he did. Like he's sitting down. Like this was before we broke up, by the way. Sorry,
Thanks.
I'm being like really annoying right now.
No, no, no,
Um,
go.
he was like sitting down, and then I was like, yeah, like he was like, is the Aphex Twin shirt here? Like going to like go and try and get it out of my closet and put
Oh,
it on.
he's so annoying.
No, I miss him.
I hate him.
It was funny. I laughed,
I hate him.
but he like wanted my. He like was like, I'm like stealing that. Like your Aphex Twin shirt is like not gonna like. Okay, anyways, never mind.
I hate him. So I'm gonna go for a walk.
In case you're watching this, I got my bangs trimmed. Saw Prim in the park, and they're not even mad at me. So I don't know. Maybe you want to get back together.
Ash asked me out on a date.
Just Samir on a date, Danny. You're not even here.
Austin, Noah, in case you guys are watching this. Still saving a seat at Thanksgiving.
Good.
Okay, we gotta get off. Don't wanna grow